What is it you like to talk about?
My patient. Hi. I know you're nervous. I just want to have a chat.
I'm seeing something no one else can see except for me. It's smiling at me.
Smile is directed by Parker Finn. This is his first feature film.
This psychiatrist, she's going about her day, and she gets all kinds of weird patients in. And one day she gets this weird lady in who swears she's gonna die today. This wasn't even the first person to say that they're gonna die today. So when they're like freaking out, being like, "Today's I'm gonna die. Today's the day. I'm seeing all kind of crazy things. I'm gonna die." She's like, "Yeah, okay. Look, I got a 3 o'clock, and we got things to do. Yeah, get it cracking."
Okay, let's go.
Then the lady starts freaking out and explains this chilling story that she's seeing people. She's seeing a monster that wears other people's faces, and they're smiling at her. She's like, "Oh, that's a vivid story, but do you see the monster in the room now?" And she's like, "No, I don't see the monster in the room now." But then she freaking does. Then she gets up and she slits her throat in front of this lady. And this just freaks this lady out. And then she finds out that she might be having the same kind of psychosis as her patient. And so she's like, "How is this possible? How am I tripping balls the same way as my patient? Is this real? Is the story real? Is there really a monster that's wearing other people's faces? Am I next?" And I thought that was great. So straight up, I've said it a million times, I read a lot of Stephen King books. This is the exact plot of It, the book It, except the monster in It fed off of fear, right? The monster in Smile feeds off of trauma, which I think is terrifying. I think that's great. I think that's a really good idea. And I like the idea that like it's hard for anyone to really believe you, because you can't even really trust yourself. You don't know what you're seeing is real or not, and you can't really explain it to anybody. And the more you try to explain it, the more freaking insane you sound.
I believe her.
Why would you believe her?
I believe her, man.
There are people right now saying the exact same thing she's saying, like right now. Would you believe them? Okay.
I believe them.
Okay.
I believe them. I'll be like, we gotta do something. We gotta get the Ghostbusters. We gotta do something and see what's going on with this. All right, to get this person some type of help. Let's connect these dots together.
And people did try to get her help. Her husband or her fiance tried to get her in touch with her psychiatrist. Her psychiatrist was doing the same thing that she did to her patients, like, "Oh, do you see the monster right now?" All that kind of stuff. They tried to get her help, but she was like, "No, this isn't a mental breakdown. This is there is a monster, there's a demon, something. There's something in me." I thought the concept was really good once we fully understood that this monster passes through trauma, because my mind started moving, right? I could see the movie starting to branch out. I'm like, okay, I see all these different routes that the movie could go. Because clearly in my mind, I was like, she's gonna get rid of this monster. But how? How is she gonna get rid of the monster? So I thought, okay, she's got multiple options, right? She could, 1, do nothing and kill herself in front of someone she loves, most likely her husband, right? 2, she could go kill herself, just kill herself alone, because they said the monster needs trauma to spread. So if she just locks herself into a house and kills herself by herself, she can't spread it, right?
Nice.
And so I thought this kind of stuff was interesting. And the movie, more or less, I felt like the movie conversed with you if you were thinking ahead like that. Because at one point she was like, "I'm gonna lock myself in here, I'm gonna face this demon, blah 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 blah," only to find out that she thought she locked herself into the house, faced the demon, drove home, drove to her, I guess, ex-boyfriend's house.
Ex-boyfriend, yeah.
Only to find out she ain't going nowhere. She couldn't trust her own mind. She couldn't trust what she was seeing. So I thought that was really good too. You might think that you're trying to kill yourself, by yourself in solitary, but you might be in a freaking stadium, traumatizing a million people. Man. So I thought that was really good. I liked that not only was this narrator unreliable for the audience, but she couldn't even rely on herself. She couldn't believe herself. So I thought that was fascinating. And I was like, I don't know how you can get out of this. How do you get out of this trap?
I don't know how you get out of the trap, really. And I kind of felt that this film reminded me of The Ring. This film reminded me of one of my favorite films, Drag Me to Hell. You know, with the whole curse thing and you know, maybe if she passes it to somebody, like when she said if she talked to that black man that was in jail, in order for this to get out of your system, you got to kill somebody in front of somebody else.
Yeah.
And I was
they gave her another
like,
out. It's like, oh, so you can kill yourself. You can kill yourself alone. That might kill a monster. Or you can traumatize someone else. You can just murder someone brutally in front of someone else, and then you'll pass. And I was like, oh man, so she has all kind of interesting avenues, but all of them terrible. To me, this movie is very similar to It Follows. Matter of fact, I feel like it's so similar to It Follows in tone. like I feel like they almost like work as like a companion piece.
But I kind of felt like when you compared it to Barbarian, getting captured in something like that, I feel like that's more real, and that's scary to me.
No, okay.
Or Midsummer.
Yeah, I thought it was really good because I felt like I haven't had a mental breakdown or anything like that, but I have been trying to, I've tried to explain myself to someone, and I could tell that nothing I'm saying is getting through. And I know that frustration where I'm like, how do I explain this? How do I explain something that only I am experiencing? How do I do it? And you really cannot do it, right? You just have to hope and pray that whoever is listening to you is open-minded. And unfortunately for this lady, her fiance was not open-minded. He was like,
fiance, no. Her boss at her job, Cal Penn, Harold Kumar. A lot of the people that she was around, it's like, oh, come on, are you serious?
I thought her boss was understanding. Her boss was like, yo, you are under some stress. You've been traumatized. You need to take time off. You need to talk to your psychiatrist. I feel like he was trying to do everything he possibly could, but he just couldn't take that extra leap that this was supernatural. He couldn't.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Not taking the extra leap of taking the supernatural. Nobody took that leap except for her ex-boyfriend, who was a cop, because he was trying to figure out these connection murders, man.
Right.
Now, I want to talk about the direction style of Peter Finn, that upside down camera moving. I'm telling you, Leah DeCasca did also that still type of movement in
Candyman.
In Candyman, and it's very effective in
and in Midsummer they did that as well too, where the car was going down the street and the car follows but flips upside down, which I think is really cool. Yeah, it's a little bit on the nose, like, oh, your world's upside down type of deal, but it is it is uneasy, and it does make you just feel like kind of queasy and sick, where the camera's just like, the way the film is shot. The angle's really wide usually, and so your eye is just moving all around the frame, right? Just like they did in Scream, the remake Scream, because you know that someone's smiling somewhere in the frame. Somewhere there's a smiley face somewhere in this frame, and your eye is just going. That's what I felt like. So I felt like I can never quite get settled, and I like that a lot.
Unsettling part of this film for me is when after the actual death happens, she goes home in a poorly lit house. Jesus. And she's like, goes to the refrigerator, and the director's in your mind, because the whole thing, there's some jump scares in this film. It's like, oh, you think there's going to be like something behind the door? No.
Right, yeah.
Of the refrigerator. But she sits there, she takes her drink, and then she looks out there to the corner, and the camera pans to where she's looking at. And it's a figure.
that is
in
unsettling.
the dark.
Yeah, that is just unsettling. They did that also in Barbarian, and they also did that really effectively in The Batman, where, especially in the opening sequence, where the film just lingers on these like dark hallways and empty doorways, and like, and you just expect Batman to be there. But he's not, right? And so that makes you like kind of like anxious. I think that's really effective. I'm pretty sure that's a very old technique, but I feel like I've noticed it a lot this year in particular with the Batman, Barbarian, and Smile. They all kind of use a very similar shooting style.
It's been a really good year for horror.
Yeah.
This year.
I want to
Didn't
talk to
think
you.
it would be.
I want to talk to you about that. Not only do I think this is a really good year for horror, I think this has been a really good year for like movies. You compare this year to our first year of Mostly Wrong Opinions. I mean, I feel like this year's leagues ahead. Like I've really enjoyed a lot of movies we've watched this year. Last year, I felt a little. I was getting uneasy. I was getting that itch, where I'm like, man, I don't like none of these fucking movies. Do they make good movies anymore? But in this year, I feel like we've had a lot of 1-2 punches here, and they came from places where I didn't expect. I didn't expect to like Barbarian as much as I did, and I did. I didn't expect to like Scream as much as I did, and I did. I had suspicions that the Batman would be great. I didn't expect it to be as great as it was, and I can say I really enjoyed Smile. Like I've really enjoyed my time at the theater this year.
You didn't expect Everything Everywhere All at Once to be good.
Exactly. Everything Everywhere All at Once came out this year too. Like what a killer year for movies, man.
You didn't expect Top Gun Maverick to be great.
Top Gun, also killer movie. I know the year is not quite done yet, but in my mind it is, because we're moving into Oscar season. So now we get into these pretentious Oscar movies, which can just be a chore, right?
Like Marvel.
Yeah, Marvel's turning into a chore too. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I feel like movies like this are a nice reprieve for me. I loved the concept of a movie monster traveling through trauma. So I really enjoyed the concept of this film. I haven't really been able to get it out of my mind. I like that it was quiet. There were a couple jump scares towards the beginning, but then after that, they really just let the psychological horror just seep in, right? Like how do you explain this, right? How do you explain if you're in this situation? How do you explain it? And you really freaking can't, man. You cannot explain it. Even after the movie's done, I'm gonna go straight to spoilers here. Strong spoilers. Big surprise is she does not escape this, right? She does not escape. She is just one of a million, right? She's just the next one, the latest one. And that was a surprise, because I thought there's no way that, it's going to end like that. You know what I mean? And so it had my mind moving. I'm like, she can easily get out this way. And then each one by one, the movie's like, nope. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And this was bleak. I love that.
And then she hot potatoed that shit to her ex-boyfriend.
Exactly.
Literally hot potato, if you know what I mean.
At the end, when the monster has her, it's essentially her real death, right? She's got two deaths, right? She lit herself on fire. That's one death, but that's not her real death. Her real death was when the monster opened her mouth and crawled inside. I was like, oh my God, that is creepy. But then you think about that, cast your mind back to the first scene, where the girl, she was like, oh my God, it's here. Yeah. And the lady, whoever the actress was, and she's great physical actress, but she was like, her mouth got wide. She was like, ah! And then her chest popped out, and she was like, ah! She like squirming on the ground. And so when you think back about her performance, you're like, oh shit, it literally jumped inside her too, That's fun. That's good stuff, man. That's really good. And I was like, man, I could see someone like trying to pass this trauma on, but not being able to. Like, if you just like shoot somebody in the street, that might not be enough to pass on the monster, right? You really gotta like gun them down to bits or something, or like tear them to pieces. Like that's nasty. That's gory.
Well, she was stabbing homeboy in the damn.
Yeah, she was like,
and then he was like, I was like, yo, that's like the Joker. Cause.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I thought that was awesome.
And Kyle Penn was like, oh my God. And he turned into dead.
Yeah, his face like melts. Yeah, I thought it was really good. Really, really good. So I enjoyed this movie. This movie had my imagination turning, and I could see this working really well as a book. I could see sequels coming out of this. I liked it quite a bit. This was a nice surprise.
All right, well, let's get into the rating of Smile. I enjoyed the substance behind this film when it comes to trauma and trying to get rid of it and defeat it. And the thing, like, if you can't get rid of your trauma, you don't want to learn how to live with it, but you really want to fight it.
Well, in the movie, kind of raises the question: can you get rid of your trauma?
Yeah. So
I'm not sure if you look at from what the movie was trying to say. I'm not sure if the movie is saying you can get rid of it. I think you can't. I think your trauma is yours, and it's yours alone. It's very personal, and all you can do is try not to pass it. That seems to be what I'm getting from the movie.
And with all that being said, man, I came out did enjoying the film. Just wasn't scared of it, but I'm gonna give it a B.
Okay, yeah, I liked it quite a bit. I thought this was very scary. I thought it was very chilling and strange, and unusual. To me, it's gotta be a good phrase like you come up with this. It's like a little movie bug that to me like crawls in your ear and you can't get it out. You're like, man, what is this? Man, I bet you if she did this, she could have got out. Nah, maybe not. You're like, okay, but if I were her, you know, I would have done. I'm like, could I have really done that? You know, that kind of stuff gets my brain like turning, and I like that a lot.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, exactly. I'd be fucked up just like she was, right? So I like that a lot. I like movies that feel like they're engaging with me or talking to me, right? And they're asking me, could you do this? And I'm like, I don't know. So I like that quite a bit. So I'm gonna give this one a B+. I think we've watched two really good horror films almost back to back with Smile and Barbarian. And I think something that makes this really hopeful too is they're both medium to low budget type films, which means there's a lot of potential for more of these types of films. Barbarian is enjoying a fantastic run right now. Its Rotten Tomato score is super high. Smile right now is the #1 movie in the country. So like I feel like we're in good shape, you know, which I didn't expect that. So I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed that a lot.
I just kind of feel like, man, with these small budgets and these first time, second time directors and stuff like that, keep doing, you know, your thing.
Stay away from Marvel.
Yes. Marvel will just want you to use their same template, and you can't create your own template on your own.
Look at poor James Wan, you know? James Wan went from making all kinds of great movies, horror films, and then he did Aquaman, and it's like, fuck, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, not that Aquaman's terrible, it's just so painfully generic. I cannot deal with it. I can't deal with a generic ass movie. Those things hurt me. I feel like physical agony from those films, you know? Yeah. So I like when you swing big. I like when you do something strange, do something new. Smile. This is a new property. This is not some sort of an old franchise. This is not based off a comic book or a novel or anything like that. This was a movie for the movies, brand new, original IP. Love that stuff. I think we need a lot more.
And do you recommend it, sir?
I do recommend it.
I do too. But yeah, I gave this film a B. Devin gave this film a B+. And we do recommend you go see this movie in the theaters. Bring someone to clutch on to, you know, dig your nails into, just in case you get scared. That is our rating and review for Smile. Thank you for clicking on this video. We really do appreciate it. If you can do us a favor, hit that subscribe button right down there. It really does help us out. All right, we've been growing with this channel, and we really do thank you all. And if you liked our rating for this, hit that thumbs up. It really does help out the channel. Or you can hit that thumbs down, and you can just be like, whatever to these guys. Whatever it is, it is your opinion. But just remember one thing, it's mostly wrong. See you guys, another spooky film.